Inevitable. So, y'all, we don't have a guest today, but we are going to bring you some pretty cool conversation about tech, electrified vehicles,
Electrified. Yeah.
electrified vehicles, and what it really means. And we're actually looking for your feedback as well. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. I just had something come up. Did you realize it's Tartan Day tomorrow?
It's what?
Tartan Day? I don't know what that means, but
Tartan Day.
On my Apple calendar.
Interesting. No, I don't know what Tartan Day is.
Day today. Tomorrow.
Oh, is that?
I don't know what Tartan Day is.
Is that like the UK thing? Is it tart?
I don't know. I mean, if it was Tart Day, I'd be all over it because like strawberry rhubarb tarts or butter tarts or stuff.
Good morning,
now I'm
Lisa
hungry.
And Jeff.
Now Jeff beat out Lisa this morning by a good 11 seconds. He beat her out.
You're the man, Jeff.
Yeah. Darn, Lisa, I thought you could be.
Oh, good.
I could beat you today. Yeah,
you gotta be quicker.
You gotta be quicker. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa, now, what does that mean though? Because Lisa's banging it out twice. So I don't know about that.
That's special.
Yeah. So today's an interesting conversation, DJ, and for all you watching and listening, love your input. Love to get your take on it. We're going to talk drone deliveries. We're going to talk electrified vehicles, all that kind of jazz. I mean, I know, there's a difference between electrified and autonomous, and I know Budweiser, I think it was last January, they tested a couple of trucks from Northern Cal to Southern Cal, autonomous, where the driver was still in the seat, but kind of didn't touch the wheel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, from my perspective, I think we're a bit away, mainly because I know, was it 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a part of the Autobahn, they tested putting cables in the ground. And so as you drove, it actually charged your batteries of your electric vehicles. If we're looking, my perspective anyways, as somebody who loves electrified vehicles, I am a huge electric guy. I've got 2 chargers in my garage. I've put them in, ran the amperage out specifically. I have an electric vehicle. I had to go elect a plug-in hybrid, so an electric hybrid. So I still had an engine because when I got mine in 2017, the range, the only one that really had the range was Tesla. And I wasn't in the market for a $90,000 vehicle because at that time it was only the Model S out. Then also there's the capacity issue, right? So at that point there was, I shouldn't say it was the only one. The Leaf was out. I think the Nissan Leaf was doing 130 kilometers or something. There wasn't any long range vehicles out. Now, of course, there's tons of long range vehicles. And so I'm in the market. I actually have an order in for the Lightning, the F-150 Lightning. Because for me, I'm now going for more of the
good morning, Joey,
all around vehicle, right? Where I want to be able to haul the sleds in the winter and I want to be able to do this. But when you start putting weight on these things, and I can tell you from somebody, and all of you out there that drive electric, please share. I mean, in the wintertime, I lose a good 30% of battery life. So,
I wondered if there was all those variables. I've never had huge variables. I've been so fascinated by them, but I wondered, the added weight, does that kill the battery? Is it
100%? So it's not only added weight, DJ, it's changing tire size. Yeah, it's changing tire size. So if you go smaller or larger, it's more effort or less effort to turn the tire, more rotations, less rotations when it comes to adaptive braking and all that kind of stuff. There's all of these variables. The heat, in the summertime, I get more kilometers because the battery stays hot. However, if it gets too hot, the battery shuts down. Because the battery is too hot and the coolers around the battery can't cool it. So if you go into
a phone, basically like your phone,
100%,
too hot, locks up.
Yeah. So if you go into I remember having a conversation with a buddy of mine that lives in Panama, and he's like, "Oh no," he goes, "Your electric vehicles would fry down here." He goes no way. And I'm like, and I remember because it's when I first got my electric car, and I was like, yeah, but wouldn't it like I seem to get more kilometers. He goes, no, you wait till like a hot day, and we're talking like high 90s, hundreds. These things start underperforming. Now, I know the technology's come a long way since 2017, and I know they're saying that these things are
Now,
not
what about these
irrelevant, but they're
drones?
good.
Holy crap!
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These drones are next level.
Well, and so this is the thing, right? Is with the technology the way it is, with the batteries the way they are, the question becomes: will the drones get the same impact from the sun beating on them and
Exactly.
traveling these long distances? Right.
Mm-hmm.
The electrified age is definitely coming, and I think gas prices now are going to usher in the electric age a little bit quicker, kind of like the digital age got ushered in by COVID, where everybody's kind of now, most people now are working from home and they're, doing these video chats. And, if you look at pre-COVID to COVID now, there's so many more people going live like we are, and, all this kind of stuff. So it's ushered in that
Yes,
age.
sir.
What has the drone age ushered in? And then not only that, I guess another topic would be none of that, but flight paths. Like now you're not doing planes, you're doing a level, like at what level can they fly?
Exactly.
There's
What height are they going to? How are they? Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Like, I
so
mean, I don't know if
crazy.
you read, it was years ago, but like paparazzi and stuff started using drones to spy on celebrities. So it'd actually fly drones into their compounds. I remember Barack Obama, when he was president, I think they said they shot down like 600 drones, like when he was playing golf. And like, the drones, because you can actually arm drones and all that, right? Like
Oh
there's a
yeah. Oh
whole
yeah.
bunch of conversations to be had, just like the autonomous driving conversation. Who's at fault? If you're
Yep.
in a car and the car's driving itself and it hits somebody, who's at fault? Right. It was like in New York when the Tesla smashed into the tractor trailer. I don't know if you remember reading that a
Yeah,
couple of
I
years
do.
ago,
I do
but
remember that.
the
That was
sky was kind of like that gray and it blended into the trailer. And I think the dude hit the trailer at like 60 mile an hour and just like sheared the top right off, killed them. Who's responsible? Right. I guess ultimately it's the person behind the wheel, but
yeah. That's right.
I don't. I mean, it starts bringing up all these other legalities to it, right? So
Yeah.
the articles that we're kind of getting into today are the ones where FedEx is testing that 300 to 500 pound drone delivery between their sorting facilities. So
Yep.
they're launching drones back and forth to
Crazy.
replenish.
These drones can pick up 300 to 500 pounds of stuff and go 300 miles. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Now the question for that I have, which would be um, pretty interesting, would be okay. So at 44,000 pounds in a tractor trailer, how many drones need to move that tractor trailer? And
Yeah.
at that point, what would be the efficiency?
Mm,
Right.
great question.
I guess it would go back and forth all night without sleeping, but when does it charge? How many do you need to complete that supply chain? So the question becomes like, it, and I know it sounds crazy, but is it going to black out the sky with drones flying back and forth? Because yeah, I mean, until you can have a drone at 44,000 pounds flying across the sky,
Yeah.
um, you know, granted, there's no traffic, but I guess there's going to be speed. You know what I mean? Saying so, there's all these
But
other
then also,
questions.
what kind of issues does it cause? I mean, just like the big wind turbines. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know that, but those things kill birds, especially big birds, left and right. I mean, those
And
things
not
are
only that, to actually
destructive.
start to spin, it
Yeah.
takes so much electricity. Once it's spinning, it can create, but the ones that are stopped to start to spin is an insane amount of electricity that they create, right? And then there's
Yeah.
all these huge farms, and you're right. Imagine birds coming through like
Oh,
Canadian
they,
geese in
they
a
they
flock
talk
in a
about it.
V.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the
They're
those are the
honking at
stories
each
they don't like to share. But yeah, there's.
other.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So you got a bunch of drones in the sky. What's happening to the birds then?
Well, and that's very
What's
good
happening to
question.
the drones?
Are they getting scared off? Are drones dropping out of the sky? Like, are you going to
That's
be
yeah.
just walking down the street and 500 pounds of
300 to 500 pound loads falling out
yeah,
of the
drop out
sky.
of the sky, and you're like, I guess it's mine. I don't know, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know. That's
yeah,
crazy. Oh
yeah,
man,
crazy
when I
talk.
seen the report though, I thought, yeah, this is nuts.
It's insane. It's insane. So Jeff says, "Got you, Lisa." Yeah. Then we have Joseph. Good morning, Damon.
Morning,
Good
Joey.
morning.
Morning,
Chad,
Dan.
good morning. And then
Double
Greg
D.
says, Dan, you didn't, Dan, what with Tesla? You weren't in the mood for a $90,000 trash can? Oh, now you started a whole other
Oh,
conversation, brother.
oh no, Greg. Oh no,
You know,
Greg.
I
Greg went
found,
there.
so DJ, have you ever done like motorsports off of cars, and I guess it goes back to vehicles as well. Like in the snowmobiling world, you're addicted to a brand,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Yeah.
like, I could remember a guy being off in the bush and they're trying to drag his sled out, and I stop on the trail and I look and I'm like, "You guys need some help?" They're like, "No, okay, no, I'm good." And I go, "You know why you're in there, right?" And the guy looks at me and I go, "Because you're not driving one of these." And I point to my sled for a skidoo and I drive
Oh, that's
off, right?
hilarious.
Just that hassle. But the same thing is with the actual like vehicles, right? Where we
Yeah.
all like, well, you're in the garage because you drive a Chevy, or you're in, and so I like how Greg did that. Cam,
I
keep up
love
the
it.
awesome work. My
Hey,
apologies for not being able to make it. No, it's all good, brother. We understand.
no
Cam
worries.
had some issues, some family issues. He was supposed to be on the
Yeah,
show
take care
today.
of little
We're
man.
talking about drones now, though, brother. You're only
Yes.
11 minutes late. You could have jumped in early, but that's okay. I like how you skated.
What's up, Bruce?
so, so share, DJ. What's your thoughts on the whole?
Well, I mean, clearly, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think obviously what's going on is what we've been talking about in the supply chain. We were kind of like these mystery people that were like behind the walls, just kind of making things appear places that nobody really knew about. And now it seems like obviously COVID, like you said, changed a lot of things. And besides changing the way we're working, like you said, from home, it's clearly really upping the levels of tech. And so you've seen, we've talked about a few times another company, Phantom Auto. I mean, I see those guys all over LinkedIn. They're just, and they're the ones doing the guys that are in a warehouse somewhere controlling the lifts and the tow motors and stuff from somewhere else. So basically doing like lumper services and things like that. Behind a screen somewhere in a whole different area. Uh,
Mhm.
it's just the technology and the way that they're trying to really now, tech is trying to really get involved in the supply chain and logistics world is crazy. But we knew it was coming. I mean, we knew it was
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. I mean, so what do you think? Do you think it's going to go electric before it goes autonomous? Do you think it's going to go, because you
See,
look at the UPS, right? So UPS has come out with like electric bikes. They've come out with electric vans. Which are like a third of the width of
yeah,
regular vans,
small.
and they're all electric. They've come out with electric planes to transfer stock. So all of these major companies are reducing their footprint. I guess the question becomes, like up here in Canada, there was talk 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago that within a very short period of time, tellers are going to be no more. They're going to
Yeah.
take tellers out of the equation. There's going to be 1 or 2 employees in the bank just to help assist people through, but everything's going to be a computer. And um, I don't get me wrong. I enjoy certain parts of technology where I don't need to necessarily interact. I can just go get it done. I don't have to feel like if I'm in a bad mood or if I just don't feel like talking to anyone, I don't have to feel like I need to talk. Hence the online banking. For me, it's convenience over anything else, this kind of stuff. But there's also downfalls to it.
Of course.
And I can tell you from being hacked last week that there's huge downfalls.
Mm.
And we are so dependent on tech that when something goes wrong, um, I can only give you my take on it. You feel so lost. Like I
Helpless,
sat
right?
here
You almost feel
helpless. I
helpless
mean,
because
I'm sitting there and I hit an email. And as I hit it, I'm like, no. And the ensuing 6 hours was a constant, like, go back to the bank account, check your bank account. Because I've heard so many people, so many people get drained in like a split second. And it's I mean, don't get me wrong, I know if that happened the bank would replenish the money, but it would be an ongoing kind of investigation, and it's just a hassle. It's kind of like back years, or even now, you losing your driver's license or your passport, right? The hassle it is to get all of that stuff back, it's crazy. And in the
well,
digital world, like, I was shocked at how many places, how many different websites had my credit card. Like, DJ shocked because it
what
was like, okay, I
What
purchased it
I'm
once.
glad you brought that up though. The hacking. I mean, what if they could hack those kind of things? When does it get to the extreme or the next? And I'm sure they're thinking about it. But
Well,
how?
it's already there. You look at the pirates that hold trucking companies hostage.
Yeah,
Like they literally, okay, everything is shut down. You have no communication until you pay us X Bitcoin or whatever it is, right? Like it's happening. And the
Yeah.
question, I guess the question becomes, I think at that point, security becomes even more vulnerable because, I mean, and listen, go to the extreme, but I think we have to go to the extreme. You wouldn't have a right without a left. You wouldn't have an up without a down. You wouldn't know a good paycheck without a bad paycheck. Go to the
For
extreme.
sure.
Somebody hacks into one of those drones and flies
Exactly.
it into a city center where people are gathering. You know what I mean? Like it starts to, whereas that individual has to go loopy to drive his truck into that. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's a big difference. And I
Yeah.
would think that might be one of the biggest barriers
That's what I
for
think
the
holds us
autonomous.
up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I
Because
agree.
the tech's there. I mean, Google's proven it, Tesla's proven it, the tech's there.
Oh, the
But the
tech is
full
there.
autonomous, it's I don't know, personally, and anyone watching or listening, please share, because to me it's that hacking, that evil side of the world that is probably holding it up, in my opinion, anyways. It
Agreed.
sounds like Nerfat says it
Agreed.
sounds like my weekly start with some hostage threatening trucking companies.
Oh
Dude,
no.
you got to get better companies, man. I see
Nurse,
your
go
posts. You
on.
seem to have weekly issues with these people, man. Come on, Nerfat. You've been
Don't let
around
that
long
happen.
enough, brother.
Oh, that's
What
so
do you
funny.
think, DJ? What do you think kind of is going to be that hold up, for lack of a better term?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's and it's the variable, and it's who's going to pull the plug first, and we've seen that, and we see, like you said about the accident with Tesla. We'll continue to hear those, but it's who's gonna take the chance first, and I think that's the scary part. Is like you said, there's so much uncertainty with. When do they hack it? When do they start to cause problems? Because they can.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever there's so much there's it's just insane, the abilities of some people and how smart some people are out there. And if they just use those brains to do good things instead of bad. But again, you have
Mm.
the good with the
Well, that's
bad,
a whole other show.
and that's yeah.
I mean, what was that movie where? And I mean, I don't even know if you can do it. Like, I don't even know if it's possible to,
Oh,
like,
I
if
guarantee
if
if these
it,
guys could do everything else they're doing,
no,
on
no, no.
cognitive
Meaning like
levels, what
being
they
being able to hack the car and
uh,
and direct it to where you want it to go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm simply going by the fact that it's a computer. You type in a destination, it takes you to the
yeah,
destination. You would think you type in another destination, it takes you. But at what point do you override all the subsystems, like the pedestrian braking and all that? All I can say is I've seen a couple of movies, and I know this is going to sound stupid. It's one of these things like, well, I saw it on Facebook, so it's got to be true. But I forget what movie it was where, and it might have been Transformers or something, where they're like, zzz, and all these cars activate and they come out of the parking lots and they're landing on the
yes.
main thing. And of course, the hero and the lady is driving and they're dodging everything. And I'm like, yeah, that could probably happen. And it sounds so crazy, but don't we think that? It's like,
Hey,
yeah. I
listen,
mean, I think
listen. The way everything's going, I guess it's possible.
the only time I didn't think that was during Fast and the Furious, when Vin Diesel was on one car and he hit the tank and he jumped and flew and caught his girlfriend in the middle of the two highways and then landed on the other car. I was like, yeah, you'd probably have to do that like 10 times before you got that right, But
10,000
yeah,
million.
at least, right? At least reset. But yeah, I mean, but it's so, I mean, reality of it, I guess it is true. You start having drones flying all over the place. And I guess, if it's going to happen, FAA, just like it was when, planes originally started flying, it was like, okay, we need a structure to organize this in a a logical manner, kind of like
Yeah.
your sales cycle. If
Yep.
you're just if your sales cycle is not organized in a logical manner and you're bringing a customer from one conversation to the next in the chronological order, you'll typically lose, and
You
you'll
lose.
lose
Yeah.
out on the sale because you're bouncing around and there's no start to finish, right? And that's one of the big things about a sales sequence is, how do you start in one place and tell a story to get to the end?
Oh, I'm so
And
glad you
well,
went
yeah, because I mean, I think this is a story. If you look at when COVID first started, one of the first things I said when COVID started was, I think this is going to change the way homes are built. And the electric age changed the way homes are built. Like in
there.
Ontario, new condos that come in have to be built with chargers. every new home has the ability to put a charger in. Like people that I know that just bought new homes, the charger already in the house. So like the as things become available, everything grows to that, right? And if you look at like Mattamy Homes, one of the largest home builders in our area and in Ontario, and I think Canada, like all of their homes, they're now advertising home office, run your business
Oh
from
yeah,
home, home office.
Pulte Homes here in these
Yeah.
states. They just seen a commercial, first one. I call. They're gonna text you or call you after. I'm like, Dan, you're right. They just did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pulte Homes. Oh, you
Mhm.
can design your home around your home office. That's literally the
Right.
words they
Where
say.
it used to be the
And I was
kitchen.
and I was kind of like,
Design your
huh?
home around your kitchen. Now it's design your home around your home office. So
Yeah.
these things happen, and then the question, okay, now here's the bigger question
What do
is,
we do about it? That's
well,
where I
no,
was
no, no,
going.
no. The
What
bigger question
I
is it
think we
is
do.
this going to create car sharing like Elon Musk talked about, where he says, like, listen, you go into work, you park your Tesla leaves, it goes and drives people all around town, making you money, comes back, parks,
That's
charges, and then you're ready to go home.
that's nasty.
Now, right? Now is the and again, here's my take on it. If this is the way a lot of it's working, I could see an actual business being somebody starting a digital taxi fleet where I mean, I don't know if it's going to be called that, but a digital fleet where they sit at home and they have like 5 car electric vehicles, Teslas, whatever, and they just go out all day making the money and come back, and they don't go anywhere. So it's literally a guy that would own a yard, buy 15 or 20 of these things,
Exactly.
and now it's the next Uber, right?
Hey,
So
listen.
right,
When
but
do you
then
want to start ours before?
I mean, it's something to think about, right, brother?
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
okay,
I
so
agree.
how, and again, sales sequence. How are we
But that's
completing the
yes,
sales
and I'm so
sequence?
glad you keep going back to that because I was going to tell. I mean, guys, I know we're talking tech and we're talking crazy, but this is what you should be doing with every level of your sales sequence, with every level of your process. What is going on? Like Dan's saying, where are you losing them? Are you bouncing around? Where
Yeah,
and are you missing questions? But I think Jeff has a good
yeah,
one up
we
there.
got actually
We got
some great
we
conversation.
got some great.
Jordan, good morning, brother. So Jeff says, with a huge percent of Amazon's packages being about 5% or less, my analyst 10 years ago was like 400 plus packages produced. Imagines drones flying out of an RDC and they would block the sun. I could go on. And by the way, there are no fly zone in Colorado for drones. I think he goes on here for drones, and you can shoot them
I
out of the
did hear
sky.
that. Yes, I did
100%.
hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's got to be some major regulations, and if again, Jeff like echoed exactly what we said at the beginning. Like you start looking at, and even if they can carry, so let's say a drone carries 300 pounds,
yeah,
right? How, and to Jeff's point, that Amazon's major percentage are like 5 pounds or less, right?
yeah.
How many of those can fit in some kind of holding unit under a drone? Right.
Mm,
So I mean, I guess that would be a bigger question than the weight,
yeah.
because Amazon will deliver this to you next day, like
Yep.
3 of these that weigh less than a quarter of a pound. And
In a
so now you're talking volume over weight. So
yeah.
at how big? And you're right. I mean, I could literally see it like blacking out the sun. Like it would be crazy. Now, again,
And
we're talking, like I think when this all, because is it going to happen? I believe it will at some point, but I
I do
think it's
too.
going to
But
be more like half-size planes that can kind of go and hover and drop. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then
yeah,
maybe the little drones start doing but even at city deliveries, I mean, you think of how many packages New York City gets delivered by Amazon,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
people would be getting
Could
their
you
ears
imagine the
cut
drone?
off, everything. And imagine, so drones, right? So I was actually looking at it this year for my snowmobile season. They have
Yeah.
drones where you can have a little tracking device on
Oh
you,
yeah.
and you click
Oh
a
yeah.
button and you schedule the height and all that, and then you can do like awareness where it sees
Yeah.
trees and
It'll
stuff.
follow you. It'll
It'll
follow
follow you.
you.
Okay, so let's take that technology and drop it in New York City. That thing's not coming anywhere near the ground. Like, think about
No.
that for a second. It's not coming anywhere near the ground because it's like, holy crap, there's some one person. I mean, it's crazy, crazy.
Oh, I
So
love it.
that was Jeff. So Greg says,
Okay.
we have cases of hacking of truckers' LED ELD systems. There are people out there that can build a driverless vehicle. You'll have to people out there that can hack that system. I didn't realize people were hacking ELDs, Greg. And what are they doing? Are they hacking it to say you're out of hours and screwing the drivers and companies over? Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that could be a way of blackmail or some sort of, you know what I mean?
Maybe
How
the
they hijack
pirates
companies.
that kind of
So yeah,
hijack. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Bruce says, I'm not a tinfoil hat guy, but I think about the ability of these manufacturers being able to remotely update your vehicle. Who's to say they can't limit your travel or drive times? Yeah, sorry. You can only drive between X and Y without paying a surge fee. Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
it's very possible.
That's a
And here's the give and take, right? I
that's a
remember
great
Gary
point.
Vee saying one time, he goes, you know what, none of you care about security. None of you. And he was saying it to Daman, and it's like, well, we care about. He goes, no, you don't, because you'll give your name and email in 2 seconds to get faster Wi-Fi at an airport. So you don't care about security. You don't. Like, think of it. Am I going to get this faster? There's great. And then you maybe don't think of the other side. And you look at it saying, just like Bruce said, oh my God, I can own a Tesla, and then I can, on my app, buy ludicrous mode, and it'll download in my car. I don't have to go anywhere. I can park it in my garage. When I come out, I can do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds that I couldn't do when I went in. That's convenience.
Yeah.
But Bruce is right. At what point is it going to be, at what point, again, and here's a flip side for everyone, at what point are speed limit signs going to dictate the speed you can go? Because new vehicles these days have speed limit recognizing software. So what happens is it recognizes the speed limit, the posted speed limit sign, and the computer will pop up and tell you. And I know this because my new Ford has it, and I'm picking it up in like 2 weeks. And it was one of the questions. I said, "Can I turn this off?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, you just turn it." But at what point is the government going to say, "No, turn it on"?
Yeah.
Now there's your speed limit, and I don't know about y'all. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like a street racer or anything, but when it's 30 kilometers an hour. Like, that is painful. It's like somebody giving me spleen surgery with a spoon, right? It's painful, and it just drives me nuts. And trust me, the town I live in, it's 40 kilometers an hour going
Listen,
up Main.
they do it right. They do it right across the pond. At least when I was over there in Scotland, like between cities, there was no speed limit. There was no cops. There was no accidents. Actually, that's what was amazing. The no speed limits, no cops, and no accidents. So it's kind of like, okay, this is weird, but they're doing something right. I can tell you that.
Wow. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I know Dean's got some, and maybe we'll ask Dean to talk about that. I know this week we're going to talk about how to interpret the data tomorrow, but maybe next week we can talk about the data he's got on accidents and when they happen and how they happen, because Dean's got some sick data on that. That'll just make you go, what? And then when you start thinking about it, you're like, that's so right. Like, I could just tell you the last 2 times I've almost been in an accident, it was an 80-kilometer zone. I was doing 90, so I was speeding, yes, but it's 10 kilometers over. I'm from Quebec, so usually you got a 20-kilometer grace period, which is what we all think we get, but I don't know. Sometimes we don't.
we only get 10 miles here.
yeah, which is like 14 kilometers. Yeah, so
it's
it's cool. You keep it at 9. You keep your cruise control at 9 over, and you're always good. You just pass by everybody. And the last 2 times is somebody pulled out in front of me doing 30. Like, just complete brain fart. And it's like, you lay on the horn, and I'm like, what do you, and they're like, sorry. And it's like, okay, I understand you're sorry because we've all had these brain farts, but how about you put your gas on the fucking gas pedal and get up to 80, what the freaking speed limit is. And, and so now you're like,
you got a lead foot there, Dad.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I don't. My kids and wife say I'm a grandpa driver. Like, I don't have a lead foot.
What?
Dude, I drive a 60cc car. Like, my car is not fast. Hey, listen, I got a speed demon. I do 0 to 60 miles in like 9.6 seconds. I mean, it rocks, right? You can literally have a nap and eat an Arby's sandwich by the time the thing gets to 100. So dude, it's like, no. I'm no lead foot at all, brother. Trust me. Now, I wanted the Mustang Mach-E GT because I was kind of like missing the whole, I might want to hammer down a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I
Jess
get it.
says they would likely they would be like clay pigeon that thieves would shoot out of the sky, hoping for a Rolex. All I
That's
have to do
Jeff,
is
I'm
wear a
so glad
mask
you
and
said that,
boom.
and that is a boom because I was thinking the same thing. Like, when does it become? I'm glad somebody else said it because I wanted to say it. When does it? I mean, when you see these things up there, why would you? There's 300 to 500 pounds of stuff.
Yeah.
Why is that not happening? So
Why-
yeah, that is a dangerous thing. Again, yes, I agree, Jeff.
For sure. And that's again, right? Like, hey, cargo theft at an all-time
Yeah,
high in 2020 and
exactly. They're doing it off of
2021.
trains. Why wouldn't they shoot a drone out
Yeah.
of the sky? I don't
Listen,
know.
they're jacking trucks of wood.
Yeah,
Wood.
wood, wood.
Would.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
remember when I first got into electronics, like we would have cargo cats from Miami following our trucks and everything to make sure. There's been guys like driving up in northern Ontario been literally truck jacked for a truckload of TVs. What do you think they're going to do when nobody's around and it's flying over some rural forest somewhere?
yeah.
You're going to have dudes sniping these things out of the sky just because they don't want a real job, right? They don't want to put all their effort in. But think about it, right? As a criminal,
No, you're
if
so
you put
right
a
though.
third
You're
of your focus and your creative talent to a legal side, a third, because you got to think when you do it legally, you don't have to worry about all the back end stuff. You just have to do it, right? And one third of that attention, that energy, that drive, you could make 10 times more as a legit person than
absolutely.
as a criminal because you don't have to watch your back. You're not being shot at. Not worried about cops. You're not worried about getting jacked. Like none of
Yeah,
that. You're just like, it's
you
crazy.
don't have to worry about getting in trouble.
No, I know. Okay. 2030 will no longer require vaccinations, but we need to wear helmets to protect from drones packages falling from the sky. You
That was
got it,
good, man.
Rafat. You got it.
That was
All
good.
right.
Oh god.
What do you got today there, DJ, to bring
Yeah,
us home, brother?
we are
That was
getting
actually a
totally
very
off.
comical session today. That was
Oh,
fun.
this is
That was a lot
great.
of
This
fun.
is great. Jeff, Nerf, all you guys, thank you for the comments.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
amazing. So obviously an audible might be boring to y'all, but we're two tech nerds here, so we love this weird stuff. But again, Sales Chatter Live. If you are watching on the replay, like and subscribe down below, either on Sales Chatter Live YouTube channel or Dan Deegan's YouTube channel, to catch and find us when we're live next. We are live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 9:30. So start your day right with us. Even for the tech, and look up in the skies. Make sure there's no drones over you.
Keep that.
American Logistics, Centurion Trucking. Thank you guys.
And DJ, they're growing. They're
They,
growing.
I,
We're putting people into Inception almost every day for Damon and his crew. So Damon and crew,
yes,
congratulations, guys. Good for you.
yes,
Love
good
how you
job,
guys are
guys. You
growing
guys
and
are
just
killing it over there.
helping. Yeah, people before profits, man. People before
That's
profits for sure.
that's what it's all about. People, it is all about people before profits. Hey, John, thanks, like and subscribed. Eye opening. Antoine, thank you. And this is from Zig Ziglar, and I think this had nothing to do with today's show. I just liked it. I'm just going to tell you that. When you are tough on yourself, life is going to be infinitely easier on you. So be tough on
I
yourself, y'all.
love that one from Zig. That's from See You from the Top.
Yes, sir.
See you at the top. See you at the
See
top.
you
Yep.
at the top, y'all.
See you at the top. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversation.